So before I say what I'm going to say in long-standing tradition, I'm just going to say a very few words, and that is that Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. It is just really nice and uplifting for us to all be together. Our friends from Congregation L'Dor Vador, Oakland Little Neck Jewish Center, we welcome you. And for us to be together as a people, it means a lot on every possible level. Oftentimes I'm walking down the street and I'll notice that people are looking down at their phones. And I find myself feeling like an old person, because often these people are younger than I am. And I'm thinking to myself, like, don't you know that it's autumn and the leaves are gorgeous? Have you looked up? Are you afraid that you're going to trip on something? Have you looked down? Did you notice that there's somebody that's passing you? Have you thought to look at that person and to just say good morning or hello? Judaism teaches us how to handle every aspect of our lives, and it certainly teaches us how to look. It teaches us how to see. This morning's parasha is filled with so many descriptions of people seeing carefully. Vayisa eina vayar, Abraham looks up and sees 3 people came, and he offers them hospitality. Vayar et hamakom merachok. Abraham sees this place from afar, and Abraham knows that he is walking towards a place that's important. As we, as individuals, as families, as a people, as humanity, are facing the many crises that we are facing, I want to uplift 2 moments from the Torah where people are taught how to see, how to look, because I think that we need to carry both of those methods of seeing with us each and every day. So the first has to do with Hagar, the maidservant of Abraham, who was sent away with her son Yishmael, and they were in danger of starving. They were in danger of dying of thirst. And the Torah tells us, Vayifkach Elohim et eineha, vatere be'er mayim. God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And the medieval commentator Saforno says, it wasn't like she was blind, she was able to see. It is that God granted her the instinct to look for water in the place that she would find it. The first seeing, God wants us to see clearly when it comes to our own survival. God wants us to see clearly when it comes to seeing what it is that we need to survive, and also, I would add, what are the dangers that threaten our survival. And goodness knows, for the Jewish people, there are dangers on every front. First of all, we need to continue to see, to be mindful of those that are still in danger. Over 400 years, it is easy to lose sight of the people that are still being held in Gaza. Some are not alive. Many of them, God willing, are still alive. It is easy to stop seeing them, which is why I'm heartened when I see photos over town, when I see people who are posting on social media the faces and the names of these people. We have to see in ways that support our own survival. We also have to see clearly when it comes to events that threaten the Jewish people wherever they might occur. So we were all following the story about what happened in Amsterdam, and there was a lot of misinformation, and the whole thing was presented as being a response to Israeli provocation. So you open your eyes and you see what actually transpired. And I just want to share with you something that Michael Koplow, head of the Israel Policy Forum, wrote. When there is a group text thread on the first night declaring that the next night will bring a resumption of the quote-unquote Jew hunt, it is not an example of rowdy thugs getting what they deserved. Jews getting stalked and ambushed at their hotels, beaten up by roving mobs in a European country because they're Jewish or citizens of the Jewish state, while passers-by walk along averting their eyes and the police are nowhere to be found. This is a pogrom. He is calling upon us to see clearly and to have the world see clearly when Jewish lives are threatened and worse. We need to see clearly the whole mess that is coming from across the political spectrum. Anti-Semitism coming from the left and anti-Semitism coming from the right. And you know that on university campuses, it's not getting better, it seems to be getting worse. Following Israel's killing of Yahya Sinwar, the Hamas mastermind, a group on CUNY, City University of New York, put out a celebration. Photos of Yahya Sinwar, pictures underneath which were a caption that read, "The news regarding the great commander has left our hearts heavy and our chests breathless. We mourn the loss and celebrate the martyrdom of the Lion of Al-Quds, the beloved commander, president, fighter, His Eminence Yahya Sinwar. Every kafiyah drawn on the neck of a CUNY student is tied to the neck of the great commander who woke up the world from their deep days." We need to have our eyes open and know that this is being circulated on university campuses, not just CUNY. So, when God said to Hagar, "Look this way so that you can survive," God was speaking to us across the generation. Look where we need to look. Do not sugarcoat. Do not avert our eyes when our own survival is at stake. And there's a second moment. And the second moment is when God is about to destroy the people of Sodom and Amorah, and God says, "Hamichaseh ani me'Avraham et asher ani oseh." Can I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? And when God speaks to Abraham, Abraham says to God, "You cannot punish the innocent along with the guilty. Hashofet kol haaretz lo ya'aseh mishpat. Can the judge of all the earth not act justly?" God is telling Abraham, you need to see not just what affects you. You need to see what affects the people around you. You need to advocate to be what my professor, Yochanan Muff, said, my loyal opposition, to push back, to call me to task when you believe that I am acting unjustly. And so, following in the tradition of Abraham, a Jewish person also needs to have eyes open when it doesn't affect us directly. Eyes open when justice is being called into question vis-a-vis how other people are treated. So much has been written about and spoken about people leaving dangerous countries coming to the United States. Some themselves are dangerous, but not all. And in Abraham's tradition, we need to be careful that we are not punishing innocent people for the sins of guilty people. And in Abraham's tradition, we need to continue to advocate for vulnerable people, not just Jewish people, to advocate for the rights of all vulnerable people to live with decency and with security. So I would urge us, as we continue forward as Jews, as Americans, as citizens of this planet, to have our eyes open in the mode of Hagar, making sure that we are okay, and to have our eyes open in the mode of Father Abraham, making sure that everyone is okay. So how is a Jew supposed to see? What is a Jew supposed to look like? We are supposed to look out for ourselves. We are also supposed to look out for other people. We can carry both of those legacies forward. We must, for our sake and for the sake of all of the people with whom we share this fragile but awesome planet. Shabbat Shalom.